Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe it. This video we are going to talk about working with classes in console apps, and this is in continuation with the series I'm putting through. So we'll be still using Apple Silicon and .NET framework across platform environment that we could use to build different kinds of applications. We'll be actually doing in this video is how we could use Visual Studio Code to actually work on a console app and then add on classes or do some object-oriented stuff that a typical C# application could do and demonstrate that. So stay tuned and let's delve practically by seeing how we could leverage the Visual Studio Code and .NET framework on Apple Silicon to develop those stuff. So friends, we are gonna use the same application as I was demonstrating in the previous videos. There were few console.write lines. I'm just gonna comment that out. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna introduce, let's say, a new class. So I'll introduce a new file, which is .cs file. Every class file is a .cs file. So let's say I'll create a class called as employee.cs. Now it's a C# file. And I'm gonna create a public class, let's say employee, and I'm gonna use certain things out here, for example certain properties. So one of the things which I'm gonna use here is, let's say, public integer, and I'll say, let's say, employee number, and I would set a get and a set attribute out here so that I can either set the property or get the value of that property from the class. Now the another thing which I'm gonna use here is I'm gonna use another one which is string, let's say employee name, and I'm gonna use a get and a set feature out here for this one also. So two of the properties which I have set, both are readable as well as we can read and set the values. And I'm also gonna use two private variables, which is one, let's say employee number, which is technically an integer. So I'm just gonna use that. That's one. And I'm also gonna use private, let's say another one, which is for the name. So I'll say string and ename. So these are the two private variables which I've set it out. These are the data members which are private. Now I'm also going to set around the use of, let's say, a constructor. So what I can do is I can set up a constructor, and let's say I'll set up v employee number, let's say, and string, let's say v employee name, and I can set up, for example, let's say employee number is equal to v emp number. That's one which I'm gonna use, and then I'm also gonna use, let's say, employee name is equal to v employee name. So that's my constructor. I'll pass on two things out here which is gonna be used around here, and I'll be using two arguments to pass on this constructor, and they are received out by here. And also create a method which is, let's say, just display the basic information. Now for example, if I display the basic information, so I just simply say display details, and what I can do here is I can just simply say console.writeLine details of the employee, something like this. And I'm just gonna a little bit put it into a format, and let's say I'll do something like this. And finally, if I say console.writeLine, and we'll say /t, which is a tab delimiter, and I'll say employee name. So I'll just print out this dot ename, which is here. I'll just print it out, or let's say I'll just print that employee number, and then I'll finally say console.writeLine. I could do also, for example, /t, and let's display the employee number, and then finally the employee name. So I could use, let's say, employee name out here. Okay, so these are the two things which I'm trying to do here, and they are going to be used in this way. And if you just want, you could also use okay, we'll come on to that, but this one, just like a basic information, we are going to display out here. So this is a class, looks fine, two properties, although we are using these two members out here, and then we are initializing it over here. But fundamentally, if we are even setting this up, the employee number and the ename, that could help us to get those values out here. Okay, now let's say I want to use this, and I would go on to the program CS. I'm gonna use the employee class. Let's say I'll create a new object, new employee, and then I need to pass on 2. Let's say pass on 20, something like this. Rohit, a name is to be there, and then I'll say dot display details. That's what it is there. So that's the method. If we go back to the employee, so display details is one of the methods. We'll come on here, we'll paste it around here. So that's what it is gonna work for us. Okay, now let's try if we run this let's say program. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna use .NET watch run. If I run that, so it says employee.display details is inaccessible, and yes, it could be inaccessible because we just went on for the void, but we didn't specify the access specifier. So we make it public, and it reruns again, and then it shows me details of the employee because I was running the hot reloading through the watch parameter. So employee number is 20, ename is Rohit, which makes sense. It displays that. So this is how this is one of the videos where I just wanted to show you that in case you want something like a basic C# application, or because C# is 100% object oriented language, you want to work with the classes, you want to work with, let's say, repositories or anything, you could definitely do that. You could create interfaces. As we are being a developer who's coming from Microsoft environment or who's coming from the Windows based environment, we are used towards the usage of Visual Studio, which does everything for us. But here we are using Visual Studio Code. We are like kind of doing what the Visual Studio would do for us, like at the background, but here we are writing everything. We are adding those files and then setting up those stuff over here. So I think so it was kind of a Kickstarter for all of you, where we are trying to set it up and show you how you could use this Visual Studio Code as well as the other .NET SDK on Apple Silicon. I'll be coming back with more videos where I'll demonstrate how to use Entity Framework. In the next videos, I'm planning to do that. So stay tuned. I'll be coming back with that video and would let you know how you could use even a console application with the Entity Core Framework. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching it. Have a good one.